Hey everyone, there is a lot of bad advice out there about selling your home. These lies end up costing sellers thousands of dollars every year. Today, I'm going to break it down and give you what I think the lies are, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm Rebecca Nadelka, your realtor mom with eXp Realty. Lie number one, Zillow's price is accurate. It's got to be accurate because it's on the internet, right? No, guys. Zillow, Zestimates, those are not always accurate. Sure, sometimes they get the price right, but many times they are just guessing using an algorithm based on what they feel the value should be. It doesn't know what your bathroom looks like. It doesn't know what your kitchen looks like. It might not really know that your basement has water coming in or that there's mold on the back wall or whatever. It might not know that your carpet is 5,000 years old with dog stains on it and everything else. It also doesn't know that you just totally renovated your kitchen and put all this extra money. It doesn't know that you built on a new deck or did an addition. So Zillow is just using a basic average to get what they feel that the value should be. Over, the last 5 years, looking at houses, getting listing presentations together, and running my comparables, I've found sometimes Zillow is 30, 40, $50,000 off. Sometimes they're really close and spot on. But again, it's based on the algorithm. So when you're a seller looking to price your home, get it ready to sell, you're not going to just go and assume that Zillow has the right price. You're going to want to trust a realtor that looks at houses, looks at the market every day. They know what the real estate market is doing locally. They will look at other houses like yours and then run comparables that way. There's not just one thing that goes into getting a sale price. There's many things. And as a realtor, we've scrutinized numbers. We've looked at neighborhoods. We've looked at costs of renovations. And I tell every seller that I'm going to work with, at the end of the day, your home's only so if Zillow says your house is worth 350 and based on the comparables in the neighborhood, it shows that maybe it should be 325, do you really think a buyer's going to come in and just pay 350? No, they're going to do their research. They're going to have their agents look at the numbers for them, and they're pulling the same data house for you. So I want everybody to get rid of the mindset that Zillow's where it's at or realtor.com, whatever online portal. You just want to not assume that that's just automatically right. Did Zillow walk in your house and look at it and see what you've done or haven't done and what the neighbor's house looks like that just sold a month ago? No, they're going off of basic algorithm and averages for the market. So trust your realtor, not Zillow. Line number two, price high, leave room to negotiate. One of the first things that I tell all of my sellers, probably the most important thing when we get ready to list your house on the market, is to price it accurately, not just pricing it high. When you price your property high, thinking, oh, well, buyers are going to try to negotiate anyways, and it's going to come down. That is completely the wrong mindset, the wrong thought process for strategically pricing your house. When you're pricing your home, you want to put it out there where it's super competitive. We want people in the door. I'm more apt to tell you to price it a little bit low than going too high. Because if it's too high, buyers walking through, they're just going to walk away. They're going to be like, well, no, that's just too high. If you price it strategically, and more buyers will come in because the price point's lower, and then they're going to be like, wow, what a great deal for this property. Then their agent's going to go back and they're going to run the comparables to give their buyers the idea of what they think they should write for an offer. Now, we've got a bunch of buyers in. We've got a lot of interest. What do you think is going to happen to those offers? They're going to compete with the other buyer, and whoever wants it the most is going to pay more, ultimately pushing your price up. If you price it up here real high, say you want to go $10,000, $15,000 over list, because we're going to have to negotiate it down. Our goal is to get buyers that walk in day one and day two to write an offer. If you price it accurately, they don't have to come in under. I would tell my buyers, if I were showing a house that just hit the market and it's priced well, if you want this house, it's priced right where it should be. It just hit the market. You're not going to get it for less unless you're willing to let it go, because it's going to take a week or two before the price comes down. So pricing it high ultimately ends up with maybe some showings, and then nobody writes an offer because they think, it's just too high. So then you lose that first week, maybe two, depending on when you've set your first price reduction. Now in 2 weeks, you have to go in and drop the price. So maybe we are now priced where I told you you should have priced it from the start. But what do you think has the advantage now? You just passed the advantage to the buyers because you wanted to price it high so you had room to negotiate. When I work with buyers and a property's been on the market for a couple weeks, 30 days, whatever the case may be, I always tell my buyers, right, we're going to write a little bit under. We're not going to even write it ask. The more days on the market, the lower your offers are going to be. So pricing it right on day one is going to net you the most amount of money. Market value can swing 10, maybe $15,000, but really you want to try to hone in where you're going to get the most traction, as many buyers as you possibly can in the door, creating that sense of urgency so they end up not wanting to write too low because there's all these people looking at it and they don't want to miss the perfect house for their family. So you end up killing your initial prime time for your listing because you're priced too high. One of the first things buyers look at, because they can see it, agents look at, they can see it, is days on market. Days on market is a seller's enemy. Pricing it right, reducing days on market is going to net you the most amount of money that you can possibly get for your home in the shortest amount of time. So sometimes I've heard sellers say, well, they just want to price it really low because it's going to be easier for them. I mean, we're all in this. Everybody wants to profit on their house. Agents want to sell it for the most that they can. The more that they sell it for, the more they're going to get paid. Why would we want to try to just give the house away for less than it's worth? Our job is to get you the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trusting that we know the market, we can understand the comparables and set a good list price. Trust your realtor. I will always tell you what I think your optimal price would be. Line number 3, skip staging to save money. Buyers can see past all of your things. The truth, unfortunately, sometimes they can't. For a buyer, they want to be able to go into your house and picture it with their stuff, their things, making it their home. Seeing all your personal stuff, all your clutter, all your trash cans overflowing, whatever the case may be, your sink full of dirty dishes, that's not what they are going to want to see. So staging can be a couple different things. Yes, there's your traditional bring in all this fancy furniture and decorations where we actually hire a staging company. That's not the only thing considered staging. Staging is taking your personal stuff that's already in the house and optimizing your space so things look how a buyer would want to see them so they can envision their space. Getting rid of your personal photos all over the place. One, do you want all these strangers seeing your family? I don't know. There's a lot of creepy people out there. And at the end of the day, we can't control who's coming to look at your house and who's going to buy it. But just taking your personal stuff out of it, clearing your kitchen counters, trying to give them a blank canvas that they can envision bringing their furniture into. If you have a super cramped layout and that's how your family likes it, that's okay. But if your agent suggests temporarily moving furniture to maximize the space and make it look less cramped, take that advice. It's not trying to insult a seller or suggest that their space isn't set up the right way. It's set up the right way for them. What we're trying to do is make suggestions to give the room the most comfortable, spacious appearance that we can give it. So keep it simple, declutter, depersonalize, and rearrange if you need to. It's okay. Having your personal belongings, my rule of thumb for sellers is, look, you're packing up and you're moving. So if you have stuff that you don't need until after you move, like, I'm not going to need this on my day to day, start packing, because once we're under contract, you're going to have 30 days. That time goes super fast. And in order to keep yourself from getting overwhelmed, start packing things now with what you don't need. And it's okay if one of the rooms has boxes stacked in the corner. Buyers know that as a seller, you're prepping your home to move. I actually had a buyer once, the house, and it looked like the seller would be lucky to be out in 3 months. Gonna move if I write an offer. Like, I'm looking to move and close in 30 days. Buyers panic when there's a ton of stuff that looks like it's going to take months to pack up and move. I had a listing. My feedback was, is this seller really moving? Because there's more stuff in this house that is just going to take forever to pack up and move. So it does make a difference. If it looks like you're ready to move and you're boxing things up, that comforts the buyers. It shows them that you seriously are getting your stuff together so you're ready to move when closing day hits. Line number 4, wait for spring. Spring is really the time you should sell. Sure, spring gets busier, but if you're a seller and you're listed in the wintertime, the people that are coming through looking at the house, they're your serious buyers. They're buyers that probably need to move. So when you're selling, you want 5,000 people that really are just out for a Sunday stroll coming into your house, looking at all your things, doing whatever. No, not really. Yes, getting the most eyes on it is what we want, but we also don't want just people that have zero intentions of moving ever. We're not trying to get them through the house. We want buyers that are really interested in moving, and your house is one that they can see themselves in. Winter brings fewer buyers, but they're serious buyers. Spring, you'll get more buyers. There may be more competition, but you're also going to get a lot of window shoppers. They're just kind of wanting to see what's out there. They've got nothing to do. The weather's nice. So they packed all 4 of their kids in the car and they're going to come looking through your house just because they've got nothing else to do. So the reality is, the best time for anybody to sell their house is when they are ready. If you told me you wanted to list it on December 20th, I might tell you, let's at least get through Christmas. Just because, as I said earlier, days on market matters, and most people aren't going to shop the week before Christmas. So yes, there are a few days of the year that we try to avoid just because the holidays, the winter holidays, seem to be the time that most people have a lot of commitments, a lot of things that they're doing, visiting family here, visiting family there, and they're not focused on buying a home. But after Christmas passes, New Year's is still a holiday, but it's not. Day after Christmas, people are calling again. They're ready to start looking. So when you're ready, that's truly the best time. And just making sure that you've talked to your realtor, that you have discussed what this time of year means as far as what we anticipate for showings. My job and what I will always do is be as honest as I can with my sellers and my buyers so we can talk through the different strategies. And when you're ready to sell, there's a strategy for every season. Don't worry about it as the seller. Let me, as your realtor, worry about that and take that stress away from you, because I've sold houses every month of the year. And so I have different strategies for different times. So when you're ready, that is truly the best time. Lie number 5. My realtor is going to do absolutely everything. While, yes, but selling your home truly is a partnership between me, your realtor, and you, my sellers. I'm going to handle getting your listing ready. I'm going to give you my advice. I'm going to write all your contracts to get everything set up. I'll handle your showings. I'm going to take care of your marketing, negotiate for you. What I need you to do is keep your house picked up. Be flexible with showing times. I get it. It stinks to have to leave your house in the middle of the day because someone wants to come and see it. But guess what? The more people we get in the first few days, the more likely you're going to go under contract. And what does that mean? You don't have to keep blocking your day for showings. You don't have to keep leaving your house so someone else can come in. We're trying to get you under contract. So in those first few days of listings, plan on being gone. Just block your whole day and go shopping spree. I don't know, go on a little mini vacation for the weekend. Do something to keep yourself busy away from home. Be available for showings. We're going to also have some decisions to make. Be open and know that I'm going to do everything I can to get you that top dollar, but you're going to ultimately have some decisions to make. I'll give you my opinion on what I think is better and what I think is worse, and I'll give you different scenarios. If an offer comes in and let's just say it's at list price and they're not doing any inspections. Not bad. You got the offer that you wanted, no inspections. That's worth some money. Now let's say we get a second offer and it's for 5,000 over the other offer, but they're going to do any inspections that they choose. So we're a $5,000 difference. One wants inspections and one doesn't. Every buyer is entitled to an inspection. And what does that mean? That means they can come back and negotiate price, you taking care of some repairs, anything that can then take that $5,000 extra and bring it right back down to where the other offer is. So it's now equal, maybe even go under. So things to consider. I'm going to present all the options for you when those offers come in, but ultimately, you're going to have to make that decision. Again, I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to tell you my opinion on the different offers, but it's your decision and it's got to be what's best for you. You're not going to upset me either way. As long as we're moving in the right direction, whatever you want as that offer and you feel is best for your family and yourself, I'm good with it. We're going to get you under contract. We're going to get it sold. Be prepared for those decisions. Be prepared to keep your house picked up and be prepared to be flexible with showings that are going to come through your house. We may do an open house. We need flexibility, clean, and decision making. So 5 lies that I gave you today. Zillow's accurate. You want to price it high so we can negotiate it down. We're going to skip staging and just leave all of our stuff all over our house. We're going to wait for spring because that's when you want to sell your house. And your realtor does everything. Now you know the truth. Those are all of your lies. What I wish every seller knew before they list. Message me, call me, text me, DM me if you want to talk about selling your home and how I can help you. I'm Rebecca, your realtor mom, and I promise I will keep the process for you simple, smooth, sold.